My name is Sarah Garin. I'm here today reporting with updates for the upcoming Nigerian election that's happening in our city, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today in the studio we have a couple of the candidates. We're going to be asking them a few questions. We have a community member here also. We'll get their take about the upcoming election. So sit tight and we'll be back. Welcome back. So right now we have Ken Oguzie. Ken, I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Ken Oguzie. I'm a Nigerian. I've been living in Nova Scotia for about 6 years now.
Perfect.
So at present, I run my own business, Trade and Investment, which is Africa-Canada Trade Investment Ventures, which promotes trade between West Africa and Canada as a whole. I'm also an active community member. As most people know me, like back when I was an employment specialist in ISANS, where I supported a lot of people in their settlement and integration into the province. So I am looking forward to the upcoming election.
Perfect. So you did mention you've been in Halifax for about 6 years, right? That's nice. So have you been a member of the Nigerian Association for all that 6 years?
Not really. Well, to be honest with you, I actually took more interest in the organization about 2 years ago,
Okay.
a year and a half, and that's because I noticed that the way the organization was run has changed tremendously. So I have to give kudos to Mr. Kunle Fakiesi and his team as well, who have been able to transform the leadership, the organization as a whole, and actually moved it from what it used to be to what it is now. So I think that's when I actually took more interest in being a part of the organization and supporting them in my own capacity.
Yeah. So another question I would like to ask you, which I think a lot of newcomers or people already in our community would be curious to know, is what do you think is the importance of the Nigerian Association here in Nova Scotia?
I think that's a great question, and I would speak from my personal experience.
Okay.
And of course, based on the fact that I was awarded Most Distinguished Nigerian by the association for 2019.
Well, kudos to you.
I am flattered, to be honest. But I think the key thing here is, as an organization, as immigrants, we have to understand the importance of working collectively. It's it's imperative that we come together to be able to amplify our voices. We share similar challenges, we face similar barriers, and being able to have platforms like this association is really good. And of course, the fact that the organization has moved from a cultural organization to a little bit more socio-economic, so the impact has just gone beyond showcasing Nigerian culture to the rest of the world, but also helping members, in terms of things like, jobs, and things like accommodation, in terms of, understanding what the system and how the system is developed and how to access most of the services we offer. So I think, looking at some of these things, it has become important to be a part of the community. We have a lot of strength now. We have a lot of working professionals. We have business people. We are growing as a community. We are raising our kids and our families. So when you look at some of this, you understand how working in silos is not for anyone's benefit. So I implore every member of the Nigerian community, to come together, join the association, get registered as a member, pay your dues, and be able to vote at the next election. Because it's important to have a leader whom we can rely on. It's important to have a leader who can continue from where, the previous executives have left it. So how can you make that happen? By exercising your franchise, pay your dues, attend all the upcoming debates, come and ask questions, look out for all the adverts on social media, talk to the candidates, talk to the electoral committee if you have any questions, and then on the day you come in and vote, and hopefully we can continue to move the association forward.
What would you say are the key advantages that a lot of students or young people would find as incentive to be part of the Nigerian society?
Great. So I think one of the things I preached about while I was working in ISANS as an employment specialist, where I had to settle a lot of immigrants or even international students as well who came, maybe some of them were in the final years of studies and all that, was the fact that your network is very, very important. And this network, how do you access some of these networks? Organizations like ANNS, the Association of Nigerians in Nova Scotia. These are very good networks where you can access it. There are a lot of people who are seasoned in the profession or the career you are looking to progress into in future.
Okay.
You can access some of these individuals. That's one of it. And of course, the whole community thing as well. You know, remember that we are in like for a lot of people, they're not too used to this whole environment. So there's a lot of things which are unknown. There are parts which you are presently, you would be as a student. Other people have gone through those parts before, you know, and it's good to actually get this information from trusted people, you know, like, so accessing the association would be a great thing because, you know, people can recommend you. And I think one of the things I know which most of the candidates have also talked about has been that I chatted to have talked about the fact that they want to also develop like some systems of mentorship for, you know, younger people, students as well, looking to break into careers, internships, work placement and stuff. So these are some of the incentives I think as an international student or as a young person you should look forward to, especially like coming with the new executives.
Perfect. So before we move any further, so the election is coming up pretty soon. There's some people who still are not aware about the candidates. What would your recommendations be for people who want to get involved and they're like, oh, I don't know anything about what's going on in the society? How do you think it would be good for people to connect to the candidates right now? What would be your recommendations?
I think, you know, of course, the first go-to will be social media. So I know the organization has an active Facebook page where I have seen, like I follow the thread and, you know, I definitely engage as much as possible, where I have seen a lot of the candidates, you know, put out their names. I also know that there's a newsletter which is available, which, you know, people typically will get emails, you know, that's people who are signed up. So I think, of course, reaching out to some of the executives as well is also a very great way to get involved. But the key thing is social media, typically like the Facebook page, has all the information available for people. And, you know, the good thing is a lot of us are very tech savvy, so there isn't too much of like a digital divide or gaps for people. So if you go in there, based on what I have seen so far, all the candidates are, you know, some of them have uploaded videos. Some of the candidates also have sent individual requests to people, like sharing their videos and, you know, whatever it is, just to talk about it. So that's typically what I would advise.
Yeah. Yep. So let's get a little bit personal with Ken today. So what would be your expectations of the candidates? Like, I know you did mention the good work that the past presidents have done. So what would be your expectations of this new candidates that are coming?
First of all, I would like to congratulate all the candidates who have stepped forward, you know, in terms of, you know, it's not easy. This is your time, you're volunteering, this is your resources. And to be able to take that big step is bravery, you know, and we have to commend every one of them. And, you know, I wish them all the best in terms of the upcoming election. But I think for me, the key expectations is more around someone who can continue on the path which the previous executives have started. So things like community engagement, you know, we need people who can engage more with the community, Nova Scotia at different levels. So it could be at the provincial level, HRM, and all the various stakeholders. We need some people who can understand the fact that, you know, we don't want to see the association only as a cultural organization. People come here primarily to better their lives. So there needs to be that socio-economic element imbibed in whatever policies or strategies which they want to put in place. So having that at the back of their mind is also important. Then, of course, the last bit will be someone who can carry everyone along. We understand how sometimes it get really complicated with organizations like this, where, you know, there are different individuals, different stakeholders, and people with different agendas.
Yeah.
So we need someone that can always have that platform, you know, have an open mind, listen to people, and still stay focused, you know, without necessarily creating any sort of frictions or issues. So as long as we have candidates who can do that, you know, I think the organization will keep moving forward in the path which, you know, the previous executives have set it up on.
Well, perfect. So you guys have heard it from Ken. My very last question to you would be, how easy is the process of becoming a member?
So first of all, the moment you step into Nova Scotia as a resident here, someone living here, you're automatically a member.
Correct.
So, but to be a registered member, in order to be eligible to vote, of course, you have to register, which is the first thing. You know, they reach out to any of the executives and, you know, do the registration process, and of course pay your dues. Then you then be issued a membership card, which is what you would need as proof of your membership to be able to vote. So I implore people, take that step early, because the election is like fast approaching, and it will be a shame, if you don't exercise your franchise, or if you don't have a say into who leads the organization. So I think it's very, very easy. They've done a great job in terms of making it very, very easy. It's not complicated. Follow the key steps. And if you have any question, reach out to any member of the executives through the Facebook page or like the emails as well. And then you should be set.
Perfect. Well, you guys have heard it from Ken today. He's given us a lot of information that is useful. He's jared us and told us the importance about this election. So there is no reason whatsoever that you will not be registered to the member as a Nigerian to exercise your right to vote. So I want to see you guys on that poll, getting registered and get ready to vote, okay?